we're back and we're talking. We're having a good conversation with Josiah Ruff, and what I wanted to talk to you about is something that we've been talking about on DML, and I try to talk to our guests about issues and topics we've dealt with in the past, because it's interesting, the different perspectives. What do you think about genetics, you know, as far as music is concerned? Because you mentioned your brother being tone deaf.
Mm-hmm.
How is it for the rest of your family?
My sister's not tone deaf. She can sing a little bit. But it's funny that you say everybody was a better musician than me.
Okay.
My brother could play piano. He can't play anymore, but I mean,
really?
he really could. I mean, classical pieces just rattle him off. But he played like a robot, no feeling, just straight notes. I mean, perfect, but
so
just
it was
like you weren't feeling.
Practice mostly.
Yeah. And they were much better sight readers than I was. My sister, she was a great pianist. She would play Mozart and Beethoven, and she can't play now either. It's just funny. It's just that I just loved it. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to play. I wanted to sing. I actually started songwriting because a couple of musicians flaked on me when I had to go sing.
Really?
Yeah, and I wasn't good enough to play like the traditional songs yet, so I would just write my own. You know, 2 and 3 chord songs, and you go sing them. And so then I didn't have to worry about a musician flaking on me ever.
1, 4, 5.
Yeah, or I don't even remember. Maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 5, or something like that. But as far as people in my family, I have a cousin that sings very beautifully, Michelle Ruff. But not too many. I mean, it's not really something that runs in the family. My mother sings.
So, I mean, I'm still out there in terms of, does genetics play a role? I
don't think so.
Yeah.
I think if you love it, because, you know, although I say my brother is tone deaf now, he used to have a decent voice. It's just something you just have to cultivate.
You just have to,
yeah.
I believe that's what it is.
You know, talent plays a part, but, you know, if you don't love it, if you don't keep it up, you don't keep doing it, it's just going to go away just like anything else. You know, that's what I've seen. You know, so.
When you started to play more, you know, well, because you said you weren't really a good player, you know.
No, by any standards.
Right. So when you started to play more, it was driven mostly by
necessity.
Yeah, taking care of your own stuff, really. Did you have any goals for that, or it was just, you know, because some people, I go to concerts and I'll hear individuals say, man, I'm really gonna practice. This was just off the chain. This guy was just good, or this girl was just good. And they, you know, that's a moment, you know, as Oprah would say, aha moment, and they just get really onto it. Was there something that, or did you ever want to do more than just play for yourself?
I never sat down and said, you know, I want to go play at the Met, or you know, be the lead musician at the Apollo or anything like that. Mostly I just literally, it was just all the love for music, wanting to do it, wanting to perform, wanting to sing, wanting to write music, and just I like the fact that you can take what you're thinking in your head, turn it into some type of rhyming something, and have that same idea flow into a song, and it actually means something, or, you know, at least I like it. You know, And I think that's the beauty of it. Then, you know, once you turn on the spiritual dynamic of it, and it really wasn't until I was about 17, 18 where I started actually thinking, wow, you know, I should really do this for the Lord. That your songs can impact people's lives. I mean, for years and years to come. And I mean, that's, you know, one of the best things, just to know that you have touched somebody spiritually that, you know, you might not necessarily know or ever speak to in a conversation, but just what you've done can be, you know, perpetual.
It's funny you're saying that, because that's one of the main reasons I do what I'm doing. That's one of the main reasons I'm in music, because I was influenced by individuals, and I can actually plot a course. I can look back and see there was this person called Twit Lindo. She played an unbelievable organ, and at 18 years of age, she was on the organ. It was just amazing to me that this young woman, you know, because as a young person, you're seeing the older people.
Yeah.
You expect to see the older people playing for church, you know, old woman crunched over. But there was this young woman who was really awesome on the organ. Yeah. She was killing it, you know. Yeah. So, and then I met Pedrito Maynard Reed and these other people that were just unbelievable. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the talent, but I just loved the music, you know. And so influence is so important, and that's why, and at the age of 12, I started my first choir. Wow. And those people were not Christians per se. You know, they were some of them, but many of them are still Christians today because of that choir.
Amen. That's good.
That's really an awesome thing for me. It's like, gets me choked up sometimes thinking that these little pebbles that you drop,
exactly,
they ripple, and you know, they touch so many different people's lives, and you never know. So that's awesome. So are you a writer first? No, at this point in time, are you a writer who sings? Are you a singer that writes and plays? Or what do you think you are?
I don't know. I'm so critical of myself.
Yeah. As long as I'm critical of others. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I am too sometimes. The Lord has to work on me with that. I think everybody has that issue. Does. But I would say I'm more of a writer first. There's tons of music that the world has not even heard that's still in me that it's gonna come out eventually.
Do you know, I was thinking, as you saying you're a writer first, or you know, and being critical, do you ever think that, well, I'm not as good as the next guy?
All the time.
But does it hold you back a little bit? You know,
no, not at all.
No.
And this is the reason. I was telling you before, I went to Oakwood, right. And if anybody knows anything about Oakwood, there is music there. There's singers. And guy, you know, I looked up to Brian McKnight. He went to Oakwood. Take Six, you know, Chris Willis, Virtue, just to name, you know, a few people. But I mean, that's just like the people that got out, you know. So when you get there, you're like one of the millions. Yeah. But this is what I always used to tell myself. You know, God specifically gave me my gifts and talents for a specific person to touch a specific person or people. And my talent is unique to theirs. It may be a little similar. I may get influenced, but nobody is like me. Nobody will ever be like me. You know, and I've tried to be like a lot of other people, but couldn't. So, you know, and that just, exactly. And that just tells you that, you know, when God gifts you with something, you got to use it. Regardless of whether you think that you measure up to X, Y, or Z, that's really not, that's not God's agenda. God's agenda is for you to have your talent, You use your talent to glorify Him, and whatever happens, that's that's on whatever happens.
If you could have been prolific at one, which one would it be? Singer,
I'd rather
writer? Really?
I'd rather write. Yeah.
Wow.
And the reason is because the words that you write. One of my favorite passages in Scripture, and now I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember the exact passage, but it was when Peter.
All the blanks.
It was when Peter said to Jesus. Jesus had made this really grand statement. Everybody left him, and he turns and looks at Peter and he says, "Well, you guys gonna leave us too?" And Peter's like, "Where are we gonna go? You have the words that bring life." And I'm not saying my words are Jesus' words or anything, but you think about that. It's the words that you speak that can be encouraging or discouraging. They can be uplifting or cast somebody down. And so when you write them and you put your thoughts out there, and I think it's just more powerful. To sing is great and I love it. But a lot of times, myself gets in the way. Or did I sing that note right? Or did I look okay? While I was singing this, I didn't connect with it. I don't like to be. I'm always in my head when I'm singing. Yeah. So, but when I'm writing, it's like I'm connected to something else.
You're more comfortable. You're connected. Interesting. A tough thing some people go through. I do it, but it's difficult to get to that place where you're comfortable when the Sarahs are around, and you're like, oh my God, she must be saying, oh, that guy can't play, he can't sing, you know what I'm saying?
Let me just speak up for like 5 seconds. My wife, Sarah, I know we haven't really mentioned her, but she is an excellent pianist. And every time I hear her play, I just want to break my fingers. Yeah. Seriously.
I'm not to that point of breaking, but I mean.
So I'll be home. I'll be home playing a song, and we're like, Sarah, hey, check this out. What do you think? She's like, I would have played it differently, but it's like
crushed.
It keeps me humble, and then at the same time, it helps me to push. To be better, more excellent, because that's a high standard to live up to.
Yeah, and it's hard when people go, man, you're so good, and then somebody else walks in the room, and they've just, and that, so you just have to pray and hope that they don't make you look as bad as you are. No.
Yeah. And then it goes back to what I was saying though. Your message is your message. Yeah, and it's unique to you. And that it's going to touch those people that God has ordained for it to touch.
Absolutely. I think we should take a quick one right here. We're going to take another break. I'm enjoying it. I hope you are too, and you will if you haven't had Mr. Ruff in your musical list. You're going to. We'll be right back.